Recent storm surges have caused flooding and erosion on Delaware's beaches, and here in Slaughter Beach, you can see that the water came just about 20 to 30 yards up the shoreline, dropping debris here and eating away at the dunes. Last night, rumors started circulating on social media that Florida and Texas governors Ron DeSantis and Greg Abbott were planning on sending this plane carrying the migrants here to Georgetown, similarly to how they did in Martha's Vineyard and the bus that was sent to New York City. However, activists are calling this move a disturbing political stunt and feel that people fleeing oppression and violence in their own countries are being used as pawns. Take a look at all of this. The sidewalk here at the Wicomico Youth and Civic Center just completely packed to the brim with campaign signs. So obviously voters have a ton of candidates to choose from, but for those who have already made that choice, the ballot box is open and it's ready for your vote. Those 5 individuals are charged with illegally purchasing firearms on behalf of others who are prohibited from buying or owning guns. Attorney General Kathleen Jennings says that this isn't just a threat to the state of Delaware, it's also a threat to communities across the Northeast. In what Maryland State Police are calling the most significant drug trafficking bust in their history, officers recovered more than 18 kilograms of cocaine, 2.7 kilograms of heroin and fentanyl, 5.9 kilograms of meth, 170 pounds of marijuana, and 34 firearms.
That's enough fentanyl to kill 250,000 people. And when you mix it with the heroin, that's enough fatal doses to kill every individual on the eastern shore of Maryland.
9 people have been indicted on criminal charges. Police say Michael Holland of Hurlock and Gregory Williams of Federalsburg were at the top of the organization, being supplied by Justin Spain of Lanham.
It's very concerning, especially with the intel and where this investigation is going. This is a large drug trafficking organization, an international drug trafficking organization. Very large scale right here in our backyards of the Eastern Shore, something I would have never thought I'd see in my lifetime.
And as for the guns, 3 were so-called ghost guns, untraceable weapons that have no serial number. Police say they're a growing problem across the Mid-Atlantic region.
It definitely is easier for criminals to get their hands on these weapons because they are unserialized. But most of these criminals that have these weapons are prohibited in the first place.
Anything at all, little, big, it doesn't matter. Please step forward.
After almost 20 years of hoping for a break in the case, the family of Patricia Dudek making a public plea for help Tuesday afternoon. The FBI and Salisbury Police Department making that call for help even louder.
Ms. Dudek's family has long awaited answers to a very basic question. What happened to Patty?
She was approximately 5 feet 7 inches tall, 130 pounds, and she had blonde hair and blue eyes. She was last seen wearing a tan jacket, a dark sweatshirt, a dark pair of pants, and some dark Reeboks.
It all started on an icy cold morning in January of 2002. Dudek's daughter, Jennifer Contreras, was just 15 years old at the time and getting ready to leave for school. Dudek asked Contreras if she needed a ride.
I told her no because my baby brother was only a couple months old and it was ice on the ground, it was freezing cold, and I told her I could walk. I wasn't going to run that late, and I told her bye, and that was it.
A goodbye that turned into almost 2 decades of searching for answers, a billboard, and little to no tips coming in. The FBI and SPD now offering a $10,000 reward for information leading to a closed case, something Dudek's family is hoping will be an incentive for those who know something to say something.
I think local law enforcement have been doing really great over the past few years. The detectives that we work with are wonderful, and they haven't given up hope at all. Bringing in the FBI, I think, is going to help a lot. If I said anything, people would think that I was weak, that it was time for me to give the job up, that I couldn't be trusted with anymore, that I wasn't good enough anymore.
First responders are a community's real-life superheroes. But Eastern Shore Psychological Services counselor Heather Brown says, just like everyone else, they don't have superpowers.
Well, you're seeing people at their worst. You know, you're seeing people who are in crisis and aren't able to help themselves or at the verge of dying.
Salisbury Deputy Fire Chief Chris Obarski tells me that for years, putting his life on the front line meant leaving mental health on the back burner.
It's the, suck it up buttercup attitude. This is what I've heard this numerous times, this is what you got in the service for. Well, it's really not. I didn't get into the service to end up having nightmares and flashbacks and end up at a center for 40 days or end up drinking. That was not what I signed up for. I signed up to help people.
Obarski says that stigma eventually led to silence, putting a strain not just on his own mental health, but his family's as well.
They don't want to share that trauma with us. They don't want to expose us to that, and so they just keep pushing it back or compartmentalizing it.
Sometimes coping mechanisms aren't enough. Obarski says you can reach your breaking point. He says at this point on his path to recovery, he is doing better, but now he wants others to know that you don't have to go it alone, and a glimmer of hope may even come in the form of a four-legged friend.
This is just another way that will be with me constantly. Unconditional love, no judgment. They just know when I'm in trouble, she's going to help me out.
Meet Serenity, or Ren for short, Obarski's service dog in training. Brown tells us animals like Ren or her therapy dog Benji can make all the difference.
He just brings smiles. He breaks the ice. He relaxes people. He allows them to feel more comfortable, because coming into a therapeutic situation can be very scary for somebody, especially if the culture's been, we don't talk about things.
But that help can come with a hefty price tag, sometimes as much as $30,000. Fortunately for Obarski, U.S. Kennels agreed to pay half. And for the rest, the community stepped up, pledging their support in a GoFundMe campaign that quickly surpassed the original goal.
Never in a million years, I think in 4 hours I was going to be able to raise, 15,000, let alone 18, let alone what we're at now.
We hope that momentum will be able to continue so that we can continue to help other people. Because we've almost raised enough to help another first responder with a dog.
Now that Ren is part of the family, the Obarskis are once again reaching out to their community, not just to help others in need find their own service animals, but to spread the word among first responders that
it's okay to not be okay. And there's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you less, valuable. It's okay to be vulnerable.